All right, welcome everybody to our May Lunch and Learn session. So I'm Courtney Dixon with the Dickinson County Economic Development Corporation and the Driving Dickinson County Partnership. And this month, our Lunch and Learn for our partnership members is going to be on severe weather safety. And we have Chancy Smith, who is the Director of Emergency Management, correct, for Dickinson County. So I'm going to hand it over to him and let him teach us what we need to know today.
Thanks, Courtney. Well, I feel like I'm preaching the choir for half my audience because Vinny Avantaggio in the crowd is out with me the other night, and he comes out all the time with us. And just to kind of give you an idea how we keep the community safe, and when I say community, I mean Dickinson County. We have storm spotters throughout the county. Most of them are firefighters. They come out, we communicate with our local VHF radios, which everybody can hear, but we also have now some 800 frequency radios in the community, and we can actually talk directly to the National Weather Service with those radios. We can get on there and talk directly to Topeka on a portable radio. And that's pretty impressive, but we can talk entirely across the state depending on what channels we go to on those radios. And as far as situational awareness goes, it's the best. We're kind of the start of it with Topeka because we're the farthest west county in the Topeka Weather Service district. And then you have Salina next to us, they're in Wichita's National Weather Service district. So it's kind of, that's the line there. So sometimes we get blindsided by a storm that comes out of Wichita, and Topeka wasn't expecting it because Wichita's been getting it coming through them. So Wichita started sending me stuff, and I guess last couple weeks ago when we had that weather come through, I should have known something was going on because Hastings even sent me something, the Hastings National Weather Service, and I'm like, I'm getting something from 3 different weather system services now on this storm. Maybe I should pay attention to what's going on. And if you remember, we also had the marathon happening the next day in the city of Abilene, which is going to bring an extra couple hundred people to the area. And so I got a hold of the event coordinator for that. And I'm like, you better find a place that you can tell these people to go because, well, they're all grown people. They need nowhere to go. We can't bring this many people into the community and not tell them this is where we need to go. So we advised, the Eisenhower School over on Vine Street, when they built that school, they put a FEMA safe room inside the building. So it's got a large safe room, and the police department opened that up for everybody to use. And if after this event we came up, and we need to get together with all the cities to be and come up with a flyer that shows where all the safe rooms are in each community that we can give around so everybody has the same good information on. If someone comes to the community, you can hand this out to them. Because just because you live in Harrington don't mean you spend your life in Harrington. You have to come to Abilene to pay your taxes, and if you're here when something bad happens, you need to know where you can go to find stuff. So just come out with kind of a flyer that we can get out to people for that. But that was the weather pattern we had, and like I said, it was crazy. But we do go out and physically are out there. The way the National Weather Service gets their information is from ground truth from us. We tell that they say it looks like the system's located here, and everybody can see that on radar. It looks bad right here, the big red dot that comes through on the radar system. That's bad. What they can't see is what it's doing at the ground level. No one can see that from that radar. The way the Earth's curved and the way that radar shoots, it's too high. They see mid-level at best of what that storm's doing. They can't see what it does at ground level. So we have to ground truth what that storm does. So we get to a safe location. I have radar in my car. Paul Freilich's another person, he has radar.
Kale? No.
Nope, City of Abilene does not have radar in their vehicles. Solomon.
Oh,
Randy Payton.
Oh, Randy Payton.
The fire chief over in Solomon has radar in his car. Also, the Shawnee County Emergency Management Office has radar that plays in their office, and they have good radar also. And we all talk during storms about what's going on and try to get in a safe area around it and watch the storm go through our community and check on it. Because like what we were talking about there's several rural houses out there. Who's going to know if they ever get hit by a tornado? If the phones are down, if they're hurt, if they're trapped, they don't have neighbors right next door that can check on them. That's why we follow the storms through, and we know okay, we got some people that live down this road, we need to check on them. We drive through and we can see debris in the trees or trees knocked down. We know we better check a little better on these houses. And that's how we follow storms through our county. Into a little bit of safety on. I think I can turn this on the severe weather types in county, knowledge weather. I'm horrible at reading PowerPoints. I don't want to do it. Just some statistics on there from 2000 to 21. And severe weather, you know, like we had in December, you can have some pretty strong wind. Doesn't have to be a tornado to cause problems. It doesn't have to be a tornado generally to set a siren off either. You know, if you have softball-sized hail outside and a tornado warning's going off, it means an outside warning device is what the tornado siren is. It means if you're outside, go inside. Do not remain outside. I know we live in Kansas, and I say it all the time, when the tornado siren's off, so many people just want to run outside and see what's going on. That could be a detriment to you if that happens. These are the kind of things that can cause us damage during severe weather. Does it ever, I feel like I'm preaching the choir, but I know we got some people on that we're streaming also that might not know this information. A watch versus a warning as far as tornadoes go or thunderstorms. Watch means it might happen. Warning means it's gonna happen. It's here. You're being warned for that, and it's the same thing with tornadoes. What do you do during a tornado? If your house, your workplace, outside vehicle, and I can share this presentation with you. And you can
Great, that would be helpful too. Yeah, we can include it.
Because I know everybody's gonna have to take time to read it. But planning and pre-planning is the biggest thing that you can do for a tornado. And it happens every time the siren goes off, and I don't care what community it is. If the siren goes off, someone picks up their phone and either calls the administrative line or 911 and saying, where do I go? That's the wrong time to worry about where you go. That siren means something bad's happening right now. You need to get to shelter immediately, not start looking for a place to go or think, where could I go? You need to have that picked out. Taught this class, similar class to this, to a lady, and she goes, I have an approved safe room built in my house. It's a big concrete bunker, and it's perfect for just that. I said, that's great. Is it easily accessed? Well, I got some stuff in there. What do you have in there? She goes, well, garage sale stuff. I got these big totes, and they're piled up in there. She had this room floor to ceiling completely full of a garage sale stuff. You couldn't slide a piece of paper in this room. I'm like, it'd take you 20 minutes to get enough room for you to get in there. So she goes, yeah, probably ought to thin some stuff out. So make sure your room's available, that if you can use it. We have a spot picked out. It's under the stairs in the basement. It's the safest place that we found out. And my son, who's now 25 years old, when he was a little guy, when we were talking about this, he has a go bag. And it's got snacks and water and different stuff in there. And anytime severe weather comes, I have to leave. So when I go, he'd grab his bag and go down the basement and eat every snack out of that bag. Because that was what that bag was for. So I guess if that taught him anything, he knows have a bag, have a plan, know where to go. He's the key example of it, but I think he has the wrong intentions on it. He eats all the good stuff out of his bag, but I guess that keeps it rotated and fresh stuff in there. Flood safety, we do, even in the city of Abilene, we have some roads. I don't know if you ever came down Cedar Street after a heavy rain and get about the 5th, you're going to drive through about a foot of water. And a lot of our cities have a little slow spots that drain a little worse than that. You don't know what the road condition's like under that water. In the county, it's much worse because you're driving at 55, 60 mile an hour and you hit 6 inches of water in the road. That's a bad time. So if there has been a lot of heavy rain or anything like that, take your time, slow down, look what's in front of you, because you could drive into water and you hit 6 inches of water at highway speed, you're going to end up in the ditch, and it's much deeper in the ditch than it is in the middle of the road. Heat safety, good day to talk about that. Yesterday we went straight from a nice cool spring to summer in one day. just be alert. Hydration is the biggest thing during severe heat. Drink lots of water. Stay inside if you can. Safety tips: thunder, go inside. Lightning safety. We have a lightning monitor out here at the park. It's kind of a different kind of sounding siren. I can hear it from my house, but it warns people in the park. But it also tells people you got to stop playing softball. I don't know what it takes to make kids stop playing games sometimes, but they want to be out there. But this lightning siren, then you got to wait a half hour between lightning strikes when they're that close to play. Non-emergency number for our dispatch center is 263-1212. We also have a 1-800 number, and I never remember it. I'm looking at it now because she should probably know it too, but
I probably should. I'll
I
find
need to
it.
get some of the statistics. We have 3 road deputies on at a time. In Abilene, we have 2 police officers on all the time. We have 12 different fire stations in the county, if you guys didn't know that. It's quite a few fire departments that we have. And most of them do have storm spotters that come out for us, and we have 2 dispatchers on every shift. A big thing about warnings, like I said, to be prepared and plan ahead. How do you get your warnings? We just started a new thing in the county, and I don't know, did everybody in here get something on their cell phone when that severe weather came through that you've never got before?
Yep.
We just started that, and that's through Everbridge. It's a subscription that we got through my office, through Homeland Security, that takes care of our county now. We can also start and make groups in there, like our sheriff's group. We can make a fire group and add all these people to it, and I can call or send a text to all my firefighters at one time, just by typing one message and hit send, and it goes to all my firefighters for any message, but we have to hand jam and enter people in there. We can also create a barcode for an event. Let's say we have a county fair and someone wants to sign up for messages for the fair. You take your phone, you scan that barcode. Now you have that app on your phone, and stuff that goes on for the fair, if they want to send messages out, this is going on at this time, this is going on at that time, it sends messages to you. So there's just different things that we're going to be able to use for that and get going once that gets a little more along the line. But you have to have ways to get, I have some weather radios sitting over there just to look at, but how do you get your weather warnings or your alert warnings? They call them weather radios, weather alert radios. They are an all hazard radio. So if we would have like a chemical spill, we got Harrington in the house, so they know all about that. Here several years ago, we dumped 6,000 gallons of sulfuric acid in Lime Creek there. And we didn't have this going at the time, but we can send a message out over that will set every one of those radios off in that area and put a message out. This chemical has been spilled, stay inside, or this chemical has been spilled, you need to evacuate and travel westbound on this road and go this direction. So we give specific information out like that. Whereas if you don't have any way to receive these warnings, how are you going to get that? When you see everybody else leaving, you're like, where's everybody going? I'm not hearing this. So, and this new system that we have, we can also set off a polygon and set a message off in there. So once we get this going, we're going to have able for the community members to sign up for it, to receive alerts just like this. That's not sensitive, that we have to have like the National Weather Service set up. We can do it from right here from our 911 center. So it's going to be important to get that message pushed out for the communities to get signed up for this. But we have outside sirens. This WEA, that's what we just signed up for with Everbridge. That's automatic. If your cell phone resides inside the warning polygon that the National Weather Service sets out, you get that message. And that's how that works. Brad's like, well, I didn't get it, but my wife did. It's because you were in Salina and she was in Solomon, and that wasn't in the polygon. So that just shows you that it worked. So you have to be inside of that warning to make it go off. There's a lot of weather apps out there. A lot of people sign up for weather apps and put them on their phone. You can get the radar on your phone. I think I paid $10 for a really nice radar scope that we have on that iPad. And it's pretty nice. It gives you a lot of different things. You can see inflow and outflow from the storms. If you come to one of our spotter classes that teaches you how to read the weather and how to look at the clouds and see what's going on. But then you can look at the radar and say, ooh, yeah, that's doing that thing that they said it's not supposed to do. It's really bad. So you just keep yourself more informed about what's going on. But the 2 types of weather radios that we sell here at the county, we have Oh, the white one over there, it's just the weather alert thing. The silver one has an AM FM radio, and that's kind of nice because a local FM station, they have spotters out that are listening to and going live on the radio, and they broadcast it a much nicer area that says, hey, it's in Carlton, moving westbound, and you know, you can get a little more information from that. The weather service is cut and dry. Dickinson County, cities impacted, or Carlton, Woodbine, Navarre, Chapman. But where's it at? You know, it's better to know exactly what's going on. And that's what the chasers and I also try to do. Hey, anybody got any questions for me? I'm gonna come back here so I can get on this computer and move some stuff. Any questions?
That new Everbridge with that regional alert, how long is that, do you think it'd be taking to put alerts out? Rather quickly, or
Oh
do
yeah.
you guys got to set up the Polygon, or is it just automatic?
No. That's the weather service's Polygon. This is what they set in for a warning. As soon as they click warning, it sets the tones off for it.
Okay. So it's linked to the weather service.
This is just a wind event that happened about 6 years ago south of Abilene. No tornado, just wind. And it was an occupied residence. There's actually people sitting in that couch right there, and it's the basement you see is this right here is their basement, and they were sitting on a couch right here, and they actually got to the basement when their house went away. But you know, you have to have warning, and this wind event didn't give them much warning. They barely made it to the basement. But it's just not survivable not to have information. There used to be a truck parked right here, a wheat truck, during this, and you can see the skid marks there. It blew it all the way out there. In gear, tires, not rolling, slid, just blew it all the way out there. You know, pictures are worth 1,000 words to me. You can see a picture.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
To receive the notifications from the new system, do you have to have your location turned on your phone, or will it?
Maybe
go by your
so.
cell towers?
I didn't set anything up on my phone. Maybe mine's already turned on, but mine went off and I didn't do anything special to it. So if you shut your location off for some reason, and you didn't get it, maybe you need to look at that. But I've had a lot of people say, man, we never got that before. I'm like, good, it worked. That's exactly what it's supposed to do.
I can tell you that the night that they had the tornadoes, my locator was off, and I was still getting messages about every 15 minutes.
Yeah, and it's a special thing. It's different. These are pictures from the Chapman tornado. You can see the date. This is Kent Mills' house. I don't know if any of you know Kent Mills. He's the fire chief over in Solomon. He was not home when the tornado came. His wife and kids were at the house, and they had a baby at the time. But this is a 2x6, and this 2x6 is 16 foot long. And they had no 2x6s on their farm. So this 2x6 came from Chapman. And he lives 1.5 miles, 2 miles outside of Chapman. Nope, I went the wrong way. And this is kind of a pictures to tell you to go to the lowest level of your house. That's the same 2x6 through their hallway after it went through the outside wall. And that's in the baby's room. So, like I say, a picture's worth 1,000 words. This is why you go to the lowest level in your house, or get as low as you can in your house, up next to solid stuff. Tornadoes don't kill people, debris kills people. It's getting hit by the stuff flying around in the air. And this is a battering ram, so.
Well, that's what we saw in Chapman too, was the young lady that was killed.
Yes.
Was debris.
Yeah, but that's just and it went through this cedar tree first and split that cedar tree.
Holy cow.
So yeah, it's just so you know, the destruction that we have with storms are. And this was when I first got my drone. This was the first drone we had in the county, and it was given to us by a couple people. Got in an argument about straight line winds and tornadoes and how could you tell the difference. I'm like, well, if you can see from above, you could tell, you know, that everything's just blown that direction and it's not all twisted up. You can see the difference. Well, how would you be able to do it? I said, if I had a drone, I could fly it and show you. 2 days later, I had a drone sitting on my desk. He said, well, you go get pictures of it and give it to me so I can win this argument. That's how our drone, now our GIS department has some really nice equipment. We use it for a ton of stuff, and I don't have to fly anymore. So, but this was just straight line wind. And they said, oh, it roared like a train. Well, 100-mile-an-hour wind going through your house roars. And, you know, we had a lot of failure on some garages and stuff. If you have a garage door, it has to be shut. You have to shut your stuff up. If you have a way wind can get in, and that fast, it's going to destroy stuff. So garage doors and stuff need to be closed on houses. That's a big failure point for a lot of damage.
Mine last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you had your garage tore up, didn't you?
Blew in, popped the attic hatch, and then popped all the seams on my drywall, my attic seal, my garage ceiling.
Wow.
See, it just blew it all the way straight back into the trees.
Wow. So what kind of wind force was in that storm to blow that truck?
110
Okay.
is what they were saying. And then it had rained a ton, and the road down here was blocked off, so the first responders had to walk a mile to their house to check on them once they heard that there was damage out there. And sometimes our warnings come so late if a tornado just happens because of the way the weather service sees it. So if it's just imperative that if you hear a siren go off, you take shelter immediately, because we don't take setting the sirens off lightly. We have people out there watching. If it's going off, they see something. Somebody sees something. It's not just we think it might be out there, so we're going to just give her a shot. There's something going on if it's like that. Courtney, that's all I have.
All right. Well, we don't have any questions online or any more questions online. So unless anyone else has any other questions. Yeah, go ahead.
So for like a business or a restaurant, if we have the tornado warning go off, what would be, I mean, we say the bathrooms because of the interior walls, but what would be your recommendation?
That's exactly right. You know, there's nothing 100%. There's nowhere you're going to put someone that's 100%. We have out at the transfer station, when they built that new building, we put a concrete box under the foundation, poured concrete on top of it. There's a hatch you lift up, you can go down there. I don't know how you could be any safer than that. Well, what happens if something lands on top of it and you're trapped in there and you can't get out? We know they're there. We promise them we're going to come get you if something happens out here. But it's just that. If there's something gonna happen, what's safer? You know, we had people, some of the most critical injured people at the Chapman tornado were in the parking lot of the storm shelter.
Well,
So trying to leave or get out there, one of them was going to get somebody to bring them back to the shelter, and 2 of them just showed up late, and they got blown away in their vehicle. Hangman's fracture, collapsed lungs, skull fracture, and severed arm. You know, that's the kind of damages we had from that when people were in their vehicles. So a vehicle's not safe. So someone at your restaurant leaving, I wouldn't think it was an option. I'd rather wear it out in a building, even if it collapses. We got a safe place that we can find that's the safest place we can be in there. And it's not the time to think about liability. You know, are we liable if they get hurt? Well, they're what are they liable if they run outside and get in their car? You know, they're going to hurt themselves. It's just, this is the safest place. We recommend you stay here and come here in our bathroom, and we're going to use this.
Well, because the last tornado alarm we had was like a wet Friday or Saturday night. We actually had people that heard it and were coming into the restaurant. So again, we just want to, know what to do in that event when it happens.
Yeah, I think buildings are safer than cars. Basements are safer than buildings. You know, it's just you got you gotta use what you have, and just to have a plan. If you're here, this is what we're gonna use. If you don't wanna use this, feel free to leave. But this is what we're gonna use for safety right now.
The official storm shelter for Abilene is Eisenhower Elementary, though?
It is. And the police department goes there, and at Chapman, it's the district gym, they have the locker rooms there, they go to there to open it, they have one in the park that
Yeah.
Extreme Makeover
Yeah,
built in their
right.
park, and they have
Yeah.
that one, and they have people actually from the communities that go there to do that.
Yeah.
We use the police department to open ours, and I really wish that a community organization would take on that role to open that up, just to free up the law enforcement because if they gotta go through the trailer parks and set sirens off and to warn people that something bad's happening, we kinda need them out there and not
Right.
sitting in a storm shelter. So I just was hoping that, Kiwanis, Lions, some organization might take on that role.
Gotcha. That was the only question I.
No, very good question, because I know a lot of people are concerned, we don't want people in here because, if they get hurt in here, it's a tornado.
Right.
People gonna get hurt everywhere, and over. Look at the houses that were completely gone. It's not an option, but it's much safer in that house than out on the street or in your vehicle. Good question.
All right, well, I don't see any more on our end, so you're welcome to visit a little bit if you would like. Finish your lunch, finish your drinks, whatever. I'm here to chat, Chancy's here to chat. So thank you all for coming and participating, whether you watched us online or came and visited with us today. We really appreciate it. And if you think of any questions after the fact, just reach out and we'll get you connected with someone at the county to answer those for you.